Musicality Mondays, Liddy Mondays, Liddy Mondays. With Jazicality Mondays, Liddy Mondays, Liddy Mondays. I know you were looking for something, maybe you'll find it right here, baby.
A Make Your Own Trophy Records production. Welcome back to Musicality Mondays. I'm your host, Jazicality. Thank you so much if you're watching on the podcast platforms or if you're right here on the YouTube channel. Make sure you go check out everything, Jazicality, Musicality Mondays, Instagram and everything. I just dropped a jewelry line, so go check that out. But I know you've noticed we're somewhere different, right? It's true. So we're at, how do you say it, the Rosalux? The Rosalux Gallery in Minneapolis, and we have two very special guests that met at Gustavus Adolphus in St. Peter, Minnesota, and I can't wait for you guys to get to know them. We are in front of a live studio audience for the first time in Musicality Mondays history, and that is just blowing my mind. Yeah, we might even ask the audience questions, but without further ado, we have Cameron Jarvis and Priscilla Briggs right next to me. What's up, you guys?
Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with Priscilla and Jazicality, and I'm so excited that all of you are here. I made the ones that are painted, messy. I'll hand it over to Priscilla, and she can introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I am Priscilla Briggs. I am a member of Rosalux Gallery, and I can just jump a little bit into how we started collaborating because we are a member-run gallery, and we had a membership opening, and I had recommended Cameron for that spot, but then the gallery decided to actually reduce their numbers. So I said, well, instead of that, why don't we collaborate on a show? And so that's how we ended up doing this.
That's very cool.
And yeah. I mean, in addition to that, I think we also have some worldviews and ideas about the art that are similar too. So
very cool. And
got together. Yeah.
And could you give us insight into how you guys met at Gustavus and how you guys how you guys met?
Yeah, how I met at Gustavus. I went to Gustavus for my undergrad. I studied music and studio art. I was there 2011 to 2015. And I never had Priscilla as a professor while I was there, but Priscilla was always someone, it was a small department, still is, but Priscilla was someone who was around. And she reminded me of this at the opening. My first year, maybe first semester, I wanted to enter painting into a competition, I think at the Writing Center, and I needed a faculty member to sponsor me. So had my painting, go down the list of art professors, and Priscilla Briggs, she's in today, and just toddle up to her office, and she's like, absolutely. And I remember it being a very nice interaction, but I hadn't remembered that was the first time I met Priscilla. But I think really got to know Priscilla a lot better the year after I graduated. I was back for a fellowship and was working, I guess, more closely with all the faculty, and she ended up being instrumental when I was applying to grad school and really she's from the East Coast, so was like, here's some things you need to know about the East Coast. And yeah, I'll let you say more, but I just have a lot of fond memories of being in the vicinity of Priscilla, so it's really exciting to get to work with her this closely.
Very cool. Oh, and what did you teach at Gustavus?
I teach photography and video, and I just created a new zine class, which is really fun. Okay. And this semester I'm teaching graphic design for the first time. So
nice.
A little of everything, at least digital media. Yeah.
What did you say before the graphic design? What was that one?
Oh, zine
What's
zine
that?
making.
Yeah.
A zine is like a homemade, kind of like not necessarily a magazine, but like a book.
Okay.
Often they were created historically as a kind of alternative to mainstream media.
Okay.
for unpopular or ideas or to support subcultures.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe originally with more like Xerox machines, but now we
Okay.
have Adobe Creative Suite, so we can make much more sophisticated productions. Yeah.
Which one's your favorite to teach?
Oh, which class?
Yeah, which class?
Oh, that's a hard question. It changes every semester.
That's really good though.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a student like change your perspective on something, whether it was an art form or just something in life?
I think they do that all the time. It's an evolving process.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I think, we're all always learning from each other.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the time students come to class thinking that, you're going to be the authority who, like, is the purveyor of information. But it's really a collaboration. And there was one instance when I taught high school a very long time ago, where this guy made this piece. It was a video piece, and I just didn't get it. And I just couldn't figure out his concept. And
Absolutely.
then, like, 5 years later, I was like, oh, that's
No
what he
way.
was doing.
I love that. Like it stuck with you, and you're just like, you know what? I get it.
And I wish I was still in touch with him so I could tell him.
Yeah. Wait, so did you ask him about it, or was it kind of just like, you know what? I'm gonna let you do you?
It was visually cool. So,
Okay.
All
All right.
Didn't quite get the conceptual part of it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to ask you about this question. I will start with you, and then we will go to you. Which piece do you think speaks mostly to people, or what would be your favorite?
In the exhibit here,
Yeah.
you mean of my work or just in general?
Of yours.
Okay. That's kind of hard to say because they're kind of all over the place. But I think that maybe the one that you can't see right now is back there, which was on the press release. I think that might be one that people can relate to. It's like a picture of an old motel sign on the side of the road that is dilapidated, and I think we've all seen that, but it speaks to an era that is maybe a little gone at this point.
Yeah.
It's titled Affordable Rates. But it's the sign actually has it says affordable rates, but it's kind of missing some letters. So,
Love.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that might be more of a question for the audience than me, because I don't know what really speaks to everyone.
I will ask you guys soon. Or should I ask now? I don't know. There's no rules. Go on. What about you, Cameron?
Yeah. The one that I want to speak to people,
Fair.
I'll say, is this one back here, I guess third from the door. In my recent years of what I've been trying to do as an artist is moving more into collage and I guess a lot faster, pushing myself to, I guess, learn how to collage in a new way that I feel comfortable with. It's very exciting, but it was really nice to, I used to do a lot of cityscape, landscape paintings that are of a particular place and I guess depict that place pretty closely. And that painting for me feels like a return to that. So it was just very fun to like, oh yeah, I'm getting in there with the paint. And I had a lot of fun with it, and I hope folks have a lot of fun looking at it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I just want to tell you, a number of people told me that was their favorite piece in the show.
Really? Rude.
So I think that was a good choice. Can I comment a little bit on what I like about Cameron's work?
Of course, yes.
And so, one thing I like, the whole collage aspect of his work is, I don't think it's totally new, because I think you were doing that in college too. But he had done a lot of, I think, really focusing on creating like a good quote unquote painting.
Okay.
And I really love how he's just kind of taken that and like blown that up.
Yeah.
And created something totally new. And so, for instance, these two pieces, I love these two. And one thing I love about that is it has like dirt pasted to it. Yeah, but just the process that he has of like finding objects in his surroundings to include in his works. I really appreciate his writing about that and what he's how he's talked about that. And one of the pieces that we collaborated on over there, that 4 pieces and the 2 on the top were images that he made, where he took my photographs and made collages with them. And then the 2 on the bottom, I photographed objects that he collected and then incorporated them into the photographs digitally. So we really tried to speak each other's language, I guess.
Yeah, that's really cool. They look related, so that's really cool that you guys are kind of like understanding how each other's art minds work. Kudos to you.
Yeah.
Can we? Yeah. Let's get into how you make your pieces.
Yeah. My pieces these days start with taking walks.
Okay.
Yeah, it always starts with taking walks for figuring out what I want to paint. As far as I'm interested in the world around me, what about it? It's often about like the urban environment and streets, and like I've kind of figured out that it is just about like what I said. The streets and just kind of quotidian like everyday things, but that can kind of reveal the systems and like the history of things, the way that things have been made and why they are this way. It's not just, I mean, sometimes it's a coincidence, but often there's some sort of trail that you can investigate. So I'm often just walking and like not necessarily trying to find something, but yeah, that's where it starts. And then the second key part of that is collecting. Like these days, it's often car parts from the street. Like that's how I've been interested in cars, but that's how this show came together for me, is collecting car parts, because people are always crashing into each other. They're always leaving stuff for me. So bottomless pit of material. But yeah, so it's collecting, and that's really exciting because it's like, depicting these places that I'm in and around, but then also embodying them by picking up like some dirt or the car pieces, or this was a piece of tarp from, actually came from when I was living in Philadelphia. I collected that, but like it feels like a big thing to have figured out that that's what I like to do and what like makes me come alive making paintings now. So yeah, it's very much about finding these different objects and then figuring out a way to incorporate them into sometimes a more traditional like painting, and sometimes it's just kind of letting it be really weird and messy.
I really like this because I'm really starting to understand your guys' teamwork together, because like you Priscilla takes the photography of something and then you kind of make it 3D in a way. Like that's kind of how I am interpreting it at this moment in time. But also, when you go out on your walks, like, do you have any like equipment that you bring so that you don't like get hurt with the equipment that or the pieces that you're finding, the collector's items?
Usually not. Like it feels like an extension of, like it feels like I'm going out just to walk. I'm usually not. Yeah, these days I'm usually not going out expecting to find stuff.
Okay.
So then that kind of, Yeah, like sometimes I'll find something and be like, I need this and I need to figure out how to get it home. But I guess a lot of objects, especially these days, is like, this is convenient for me to like pick up and like I'll maybe have a backpack but usually it's like I can carry this on my walk and it's not an inconvenience.
I'm gonna buy you some protective gloves because look at it's like very sharp. But anyway, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But no, that's really cool. Yeah, and there's some amazing pieces of art in here, and I'll make sure to videotape everything so that you guys watching on the internet can see as well. But yeah, Priscilla? What's the inspiration for your pieces? Like when you find something that you want to take a photo of, how do you decide that?
Well, it's a combination of things. So I would say half of the work in this show was taken long before the concept for this exhibit started. So for instance, this piece here was something I photographed when we were driving my stepdaughter to college 13 years ago.
Nice.
So I have like an archive of photographs, and a lot of the time I'll just photograph things that I find interesting and then find a use for them later.
Okay.
But when Cameron and I decided to work on this exhibit, I worked with a little more intention.
Oh, for sure.
So some of the pieces, I decided to so the year before, Cameron had taken a road trip to the Badlands, and I had always wanted to do that. So I thought, well, part of the project should be a road trip to just kind of take photos along the way. And there's a theory of photography called the new topographics, which isn't really new anymore, but it was this idea where you kind of like travel around and you take photographs of things that are interesting, and that was something that emerged in the 70s as a photographic practice. So I was like, well, I'll do that and just kind of see what I find along the way that fits the theme. And so there were some things that I photographed, like this piece here was prior to when we decided to do this show, where they were actually neighbors, or not immediate neighbors, but kind of on the same street, where they had these kind of homemade signs for Trump and Biden. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then the ones from the road trip were more from that spot onward. And what we had talked about when we were designing the exhibit was making kind of a mapping from like an urban environment, kind of like on a road trip to like the Badlands as the destination, since we had both decided, or since he'd gone there and I was planning to go. And so all of these photographs from there on were taken on that road trip, and that one's at a rest stop that I thought was interesting. It had a plaque about Lewis and Clark's expedition, and so a lot of what we had talked about were ideas of manifest destiny and how the highway system kind of fit into that, like a contemporary version of that in a way.
Super cool. Okay.
And then the McDonald's drive-through, that kind of inspired this collection of images that have the American flag in them as a kind of iconography of this Americana that you see along the highway. And that one, for instance, is called Messages from the Road. So one thing I really was thinking about is how people see the highway as like a platform for communicating with the rest of the world.
Okay.
So
like a billboard.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that name. Messages from the Road, you said? Very cool.
And there's two parts up here and a part 3.
Yeah.
Maybe people haven't seen.
Sorry, I'm covering part 3. But is that a snake?
It's a snake.
And it's a little bit of a double to go with the Democrats and the Republicans, I thought maybe the "Don't Tread on Me" sign, but it's also like about roadkill and how, there are environmental issues related to the road, so
Yeah.
it was supposed to be a little bit funny.
I love it. It was great. And where is the Badlands located?
That's in South Dakota.
South Dakota. Okay.
And then my husband and I went a little further to the Black Hills as well.
Okay.
Which is where Mount Rushmore is. Yeah.
Cool. Hello, everyone. Just in case you're joining us, I'm Jazicality, and I'm the host of Musicality Mondays. It's a podcast located on my YouTube channel, Jazicality, and we're having a great time up here. We are just talking about the exhibit that you're in. Just take a look around and see what you gravitate towards. It's been all right.
So I was a little curious with Jazicality, where it originated. So
It's my name plus musicality and personality.
okay.
Yeah. Because I'm also a musician, and a podcast host. But yes, of course. Yes.
If I can ask a question, real quick, I'm interested in the concept that you're kind of hinting at that knits all these pieces together. Like, what is the theme that you're developing here?
For me, it's like 5 themes. Do you want to speak on them? I can speak on them, but it's definitely Americana. I try to think about it in a little circle. I don't know. This is a window into the chaos of my mind. But it's definitely Americana. It's definitely about the street. I don't know. It's about people deciding how places should be. Help me out here.
So like designed infrastructure?
Yeah, designed infrastructure. How society influences I guess for me, like how culture and society, like us as a collective, decide how physical spaces should be, and then how physical spaces influence us in our culture and our day-to-day life. I guess that's near to the core of it for me. But if there's anything else you want to add that you were thinking about.
I would actually just talk about something I read that you wrote, which was about how the pieces that you collect are part of your environment, and that is an extension of kind of your own identity. And I would say that my work as a photographer started with portraiture, and I became much more interested in more of a cultural identity and how our context helps to define or actually really shapes who we are as people. And I think they're very similar concerns, but just from 2 different perspectives.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's a strong intersection of our work and our thought process.
Thank you, Chris, for that question. That was explosive, dude. No, that was great. No, it was great. I was like, that's a really good question. Give me that question, bro.
He's a plant.
He's a plant. It's crazy.
They know each other.
They know each other. They're married, for who doesn't know. Does anyone in the audience have another question that they would like to say? You know what? I'm going to give you a chance to ponder. And then if you come up with one, raise your hand, and then I'll be like, I got you. So.
How does your music? You said you're a musician. How does your music blend with this art?
You know what? That's a great question, actually, because I was going to say Musicality Mondays is all about, actually, you would think it's only about music, but what I want to do with the podcast is exactly this. So thank you so much for having me here, because it's really cool to take all art forms and part of the society and or the community and just to show the audience what we have out here. So it's really cool to be able to showcase this gallery, because I'm a podcaster and musician, and you guys are artists, and probably several other things that I don't know about yet. But
I think Cameron's a musician as well.
Also, I know, he's a musician as well, and it's really cool to be able to highlight things that are going on in the community, which is what I want to do on this show. Just hairstylists, photographers, all the things that you don't think about that you need for when you go out. So, yeah. Thank you for that question. Very nice. What are some of the, I don't know how far you want to go into it or whatever, but what are some of the concerns that you have?
So can you clarify when you say concerns?
Well, yeah, because when you were expressing how you guys came together and your different perspectives, you said that your different perspectives on the concerns in the world.
Oh, okay. So really just like what we're thinking about. And
Well, yeah.
Yeah, what drives our work.
Yeah.
That is a good question.
Thank you.
I would say that there are a lot of things.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And so it was interesting because we had prior to the exhibit, we had a critique with a group of artists, and they asked us a lot of questions. And one of my responses was, we're not actually trying to answer questions here. We're asking the questions. And so
We asked the question.
which, in my opinion, that's like what art is for. Is
Yeah.
if it's answering the question, then it's maybe not as interesting
Okay.
because it's
You know
telling you
what, I
what to
gotta-
think, as opposed to. Often, my approach is to start by documenting something,
Yeah.
and then figuring out how to contextualize that through presentation. But also, I feel like my hand is in it in the presentation,
Okay.
but I often try to leave the subject as open as possible.
Offer interpretation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
I like that.
Yeah. So, for instance, someone looking at that piece, Mr. Trump, thank you, or Biden, we put your name on the side of our barn.
Mhm.
Depending on your perspective, you
Right.
might look at that very differently. But I'm not interested in manipulating that, I guess.
You know what?
Yeah.
That's good. It was a trick question. You passed. No, I'm kidding. But no, that's really good. I like that. What about you? What about you? Do you want to also leave it up for interpretation?
Yeah. I don't feel like I'm able to reach necessarily a conclusion or an answer, or maybe sometimes a suggestion with what I end up with when I'm like after my process of making. I don't have a lot to say. I will say I feel like our first meetings, especially for me, I was in a very emotional place, and I guess a place of concern just about partisan politics. At this point, there's so much that could be said about that, but
Yeah.
I think focusing on the art and focusing on this subject has sort of been a process of calming myself.
Good.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of concerns go into the art and the paintings when I start, and
Yeah.
it's nice to focus it around something that's maybe less immediate and crazy, but it is still what I think about when I paint. So I think I said this earlier, but I hope some of that comes through, but it's also not necessarily I need them to get this from this painting.
That brings up a question I want to ask. Have you ever had a moment where someone's looking at your art and they tell you their interpretation and it makes you completely look at it differently and change your perspective?
All the time.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I get into what I think it's putting out, and then I think that's the beauty of art, and many different kinds of art of just like this is what I think I'm saying, and then it's once you're in front of other folks and like sharing that with the community, then it's like, well, this is what we think, and sometimes it's allowed to change into that, or it's so.
Well, actually, I had that experience with Cameron, where there were some photographs I had, and he was like, "Oh, well, that looks like a collage," and I was like, "Oh, you're right," and then I decided to take that and kind of extract part of it and work on a larger collage, which I haven't finished yet, so it's not in this
Cool.
exhibit, but And then I had a conversation about that with someone else, and they were like, "Oh, well, you know, a lot of your work actually, it feels like you find the collage in the environment, even though it's
Cool.
a photograph." And I had never really thought about that, and I was like,
Right.
"Oh, you know, that's." So often, what I tell students is like, you want to, with photography, you take the photographs, and then you often have to go back and reshoot with more
Yeah.
intention after you kind of edit them, and you figure out how to narrow down your concept,
Yeah.
and also, maybe do iterative works where you're reworking the same thing in multiple ways. But yes, collage. So that's something where I was like, oh, I should really probably pay more attention to that. But also, I just have started working on more collage too.
Absolutely.
And part of that was, I've done collage before, and I love collage, but for this exhibit, I was trying to do more of that. I didn't do as much as I thought I would, but, and there were a lot of works. I think maybe you have some that are unfinished, and I have some that are unfinished, but we couldn't really fit anymore in the space. So we're thinking maybe we want to have this show again somewhere else that's bigger, so we can expand on it.
Yeah, that's really cool. And like, everything that you're saying is matching with what I'm looking at over there. And I thought those were, however many are up there, different, like, separate pieces. But when you said it was one piece, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Because like, I would have never thought that. And art is awesome. But what is it called? What is the piece called?
Promises. So it's about the kind of the brand name of the car.
Okay.
They were all photographed in a junkyard, and it's about the kind of aspirational idea of what the car represents. So
Okay.
my favorite one is Galaxy. So it's
Okay.
kind of like a very broad. It's a really
That's good.
big idea there. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
So how many different ones are there? I can't really.
I think there's 7.
Yeah. And when you guys put, is that Cameron? Is your work right above that? When you guys put those together, did you have something in mind, or like, is it kind of like, do they go together for you? Because I think.
Yeah, so
That's
he
cool.
had shown me that painting, and then I was like, oh, I think I want to make this piece to go with that. So
Okay.
I did. It was very intentionally paired.
It looked very different when you saw it, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, if you look closely at that piece, it has little images of cars kind of throughout, and
Yeah.
those images are from a magazine that Priscilla found on her road trip. Is that
Oh.
correct?
It was we went to an antique shop, and they had this one room that was all car stuff, and there was like a bag of pages torn out of magazines that all had old classic cars on them. So I was like, oh, maybe Cameron can use this. So yeah.
Yeah, so I find it really interesting and really cool that, from your investigation for your photographs, you found this material and were able to pass it to me that influenced how my painting started and then progressed and came out. And then through that beginnings of the painting, you were able to pull some things and like make more photographs based on that for those two to go together.
Does anyone have a question? Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking here. I was here last week when things, for the opening too, but didn't take things in quite the same way. I'm thinking about like notions of ruin in both of your work, like you kind of finding things from the crashes or the accidents, and then like the hotel sign, but then also things that aren't ruined, that are like being built or that are whole. I don't know, I guess thematically, is there any relationship between like ruin and possibility that's related to everything here as a whole?
I mean, I can speak to my own photographs where I was thinking about, or we had a lot of conversations about the plan for the highway system that was developed in 1956, and what that did to the country for better and worse. So, a lot of eminent domain issues, both urban and rural, but also made, transportation a lot easier. So now you can drive to Mount Rushmore in, I don't know how many hours, but so we were talking about that, and so I was also just thinking about like the promise. It was this very kind of utopian idea, and he had shared with me like he had found these photographs from the Futurama exhibit. And do you know what year that was?
I believe it was 1939.
Okay, so it was this like big model they had made of the highway system, and it had this kind of it was a model where people would sit above it and look down, and it had this very kind of like overlord kind of look to it, where people are like planning, so we talk about planned or designed infrastructure, planning this infrastructure that affects a lot of people's lives in both positive and negative ways. And so thinking about that, but also about just how the highway system has changed landscapes over time and how that's evolved. The countryside and the urban areas, they evolve over time based on traffic, right? Location. So
I never thought about that. This is great. Continue.
Yeah, you were touching on this, Priscilla, but retrofuturism is like a term that kind of describes what you were describing of the idea of the future that people had in the past. So us looking today, looking back at folks who are looking maybe to where we are now or maybe past there. And that's, the Futurama exhibit you mentioned kind of is in a lot of those conversations. That's been kind of a lot of my research over the past couple years. And the highway system and the automobile being invented, the highway system coming into being as it did several decades later, and like is it post World War II boom? I'm trying to talk, but yeah, that aesthetic is a really rich time of people imagining the year 2000 or 1,000 years in the future, and there's so much in there that inspired my work, and I think we talked about, and just even thinking about there could be ruin, but passing over that ruin into a better future. Or I think about, is this the ruined future, or is this the utopian future? And then that came into a lot of it, and I think being able to kind of sit within the middle of that and not necessarily make a judgment, but gather as much information as we can, so gather those sinews together and like the pathways that can take us. So thanks.
Any more questions? Yes.
I was curious for Cameron. We have like a few different painting styles of yours that we're seeing, and I was kind of looking at, I think it's called Flood, with being your more the most painted collage in this show. And I'm wondering if you could talk about maybe if there's decision making about your style in painting, like between the swing set one that we all love and the different painting style we're seeing out here on this piece.
Yeah. At a very base layer, it's very logistical because I like to use oil paint when I paint. But oil paint is corrosive to paper and fabric and different materials. So painting on a canvas is always protecting that surface and then applying color and paint. So you can collage with acrylic paint, and that doesn't have those problems. Acrylic paint is plastic, basically. So I don't know why I do that to myself, but there is a particular thing of being careful of layering. So I started this one out I started Flood with spray paint and then collaged and kind of had some ideas there and then protected everything and used oil paint for the top layer. Whereas the swing set painting that didn't come into consideration. I could kind of do anything I wanted at any stage of that. And then in addition, when I'm collaging, especially with found objects, it's kind of a very precious thing that I have, like this particular image. Like there is the idea or the reality of producing images. So sometimes I have like multiple things and I could try iterations of this or whatnot, but often it's like, this is a really special thing that I've found and I don't want to just waste it on something that it maybe doesn't look good on, or I like it now, but so it kind of gets to be a big decision to like commit to collaging things, but I feel like I've been learning how to just have fun with it, and like there's plenty of material, there's plenty of whatever, so it's kind of like letting go and seeing what happens, but also there's a certain amount of planning that goes into like this collage.
Anyone else? Okay, is there, for both of you, is there anything that you always like to put in your work that like is a part of you, that's like a secret or anything? Or a signature, if you would.
I don't think so for me either. I think I try to put my love in there. Try to put my best.
Put your foot in that. Yeah, that's really cool. Ooh, okay. Audience. What's one word that you would describe one of the pieces with? What would you say?
Oh, yes, Chris.
Counterintuitive.
Counterintuitive.
That's odd, but if I can explain,
Of course.
the two pieces that Priscilla has referenced.
Wait, do you want to come here and be on camera? You don't have to. You guys don't
I'm
have
camera
to.
shy.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
The two pieces that Priscilla referenced a couple times with the Trump sign
Yeah.
and the Biden sign. I'm coming from the perspective of my own lens, but the rule, Biden sign, is counterintuitive to me. I would have thought that would have been a Trump sign.
Wait, you mean
If that makes sense.
you mean like
Rural America voted for Trump, urban America voted for Biden.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So the question behind the observation is, that surprises me. In your exploration, did anything surprise you as you were exploring this theme?
That's good. Just come take my seat, okay?
Did you guys find anything that surprised you along this journey?
It's all surprising.
What about you?
Yeah, I don't know if surprised is the word I would use.
Okay.
Because I guess I just always think of a project as a way to learn about something, and the specific topic of this exhibit was driven more, I think, by Cameron.
Okay.
In that he had already been making work about car culture, and it was something he had invested a lot of research into. And when we talked about that, I was like, oh yeah, I can get on board with that. So
Cool.
the whole thing, I guess, was surprising for me. And then it was like a little bit of a left turn from what I've been working on. So,
Okay.
But it was really fun. Yeah. And it's great to work with Cameron because he's a good antidote to my cynicism.
Love.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You said that your method starts with going for a walk for your found items. Do you ever get to a stopping point with one of your pieces and say, I haven't found all the items that belong on here, and added something that you had to go out and find?
I feel like it's often object first. The piece second from the door, I didn't have to go out and find something, but it only has one collaged element on the corner, and that one it was just going to be a painting of paint, and I wasn't planning to collage, but I came down to that last little bit and was like, I could try to paint this corner in the way that it needs to be, but I actually think what it needs is an object, and in that case I knew where to find it and had a book that had some stripes. But so far I haven't had to go out and get something, but I'm sure that's gonna
We'll take 5 more of the word that describes anyone.
So also the Trump and Biden photographs, the word that comes to mind is definitely like hagiography. Like the strange like idolatry of the politicians, like putting up signs for people who will never see it and who don't know you exist. And it's just interesting, like, you know, I think it's representative of the way that people are they don't have a real grasp on politics, and you know, I'm a big believer that the 2 major parties don't really care about any of us, and these people are just out in the middle of nowhere, just like putting up signs to God. But I really like it. I like it a lot. Like, I just think it speaks a lot to like voter disillusionment and like the false narratives that we create for ourselves.
Yeah. Wow. You know what? Yeah.
Word hagiography.
Yeah. How do you? What's that mean? What's hagiography?
Oh, hagiography is like ascribing like mythic status to people who don't actually deserve it, or haven't truly earned what you're giving them, essentially.
Nixon, when he died, that was exactly applied to him.
Really?
Thank you. Yes, that was the exact word that was applied to him.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. This is amazing. Literally thank you for like having me, because I'm learning and like I'm hearing from people. This is so cool, and like learning about what people think about your art. Oh, this is great. 4 more. Do you guys have another word that you would describe?
This is something else I noticed, just to add on, but I think they added the Mister after they made the whole sign. Because they did. That was kind of cute.
Very 3 more. What we got?
And I'm surprised I'm saying that, but it was after the conversation here started to come to mind when you were talking about the road trip, right? And how the highways have changed, and you have to be very purposeful to go on a road trip to see the sights that is in your art. Like, this is not images that you're going here in urban Twin Cities go across very often, right? Like, you have to go off the beaten path to be able to see and absorb that. And then the purposefulness of the combination, you know, the elements that make up your brand names of the cars, paired with the art that Cameron made. I mean, that was so purposeful. And then like the cars, the collage cars in the piece. So it was, I think that surprised me of just really how purposeful the intent, and so it was nice.
You ate that up.
And I really need to sing Priscilla's praises for, I've just been thinking about, like, as we've been doing this, thinking about what it was like to work with you, and I feel like purposeful, but also openness is a perfect way to describe how I experienced working with you, of like, it's good to have a plan, but also open to what we find out and that investigation. So it really made it, I don't know, you wrangled some of my energy that needed to be wrangled in a nice way. So
I'm a professional wrangler. Can I?
Yeah.
I'll tell a little story along those lines. So when we went to install the work, we didn't really have a plan. We were just like, okay, we'll just bring everything to the gallery and figure out where it goes. And I had made that collage in the front window, which was actually, that would be my surprise, because it was like, what the hell is that? Anyway, I had this piece left over that I was like, I love this piece, but it didn't fit in the collage, so maybe I'll just hang it on the wall. I don't know. And then Cameron showed up, and he was like, I have this car part. I don't know, maybe we'll just hang it on the wall. And then we were like, well, let's just stick them together. And that's how we created that piece right there.
Okay, yep.
It was a very impromptu kind of spur of the moment thing. And I love that he was up for that. And that we each had our one piece that we loved and we didn't know what to do with. So
did you guys like come up for a name just in case anybody asks?
A name for what?
Sorry, yeah, a name of the piece or for the piece.
We titled it "The Road Runs Through It."
Okay, yeah, you know. Okay, wait. So, which part is okay? So the car piece is the blue part, and then what is the gray part? What is it?
It was a photograph of a road. It's more rural. Oh. So it was all like I don't know if it was farmland, but it was definitely green. And there weren't houses or anything. It was just all green in between the squares.
Okay.
So I don't know where it was. I made the collage just from photographs that I found on the internet. Okay. So I was planning to take some drone photographs, and then I realized that you can't fly a drone over a highway.
Wait, really? Is it like
road.
Illegal?
It's illegal, yeah. Oh. So then I just found some online. Yeah.
Why is it? Do you know why it's illegal?
I could imagine it could end up being a hazard if you don't know what you're doing. Or,
all right.
Yeah. I don't know. Driving along and a drone runs into your windshield. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
It could be dangerous. Yeah.
I just want to say, it kind of looks like a sports logo, like a sports team logo.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would. Yeah, I think that's really cool. And I love that you guys keep it up for interpretation. There's a lot that you can say about the pieces in here. I think it's really cool. Is there anything that we haven't highlighted yet that you'd like to bring to the attention of anyone?
Yeah, no, sorry. People should take a look at these four over here. The two on top that I worked on, and then on bottom, the two Priscilla worked on. I feel like that. I mean, this piece here for me really represents the ideas coming together and then meeting. But this the whole room, but those four really highlight for me our two approaches, our differing media, but then coming together and they work so well color-wise.
They really do, and I will say I agree that the piece that you guys just talked about really encapsulates everything that you guys have been talking about. So right at the end of your guys' journey, you're like, hey, I got something. You wanna you know.
It was too crazy. It was like, is this happening?
I just love it. Like, it's just like you guys are on the same page in different ways that really complement each other. So that's really awesome. But yeah, do you guys have any more questions before we kind of wrap up? And anything that you'd like to say?
Yes. I'm kind of curious if you could talk. Obviously, you've talked quite a bit about it, but the process of collaborating together, it seems like you were very aligned and had a plan in many moments, but then there was also a lot of room for play. And I was just wondering, logistically, what the process was, and also, I don't know, maybe from a more philosophical standpoint, if you could talk about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Our first meeting was lunch. I feel like we plan our meetings over lunch. That feels important. Yeah, I've done shows in the past, so I feel like I was drawing on, well, I've done this in the past and it's worked. There's best practices, but really deferring to you on a lot as someone who's showed more and with other folks and teach people for a living. So I'm like, hey, this is an opportunity to present ideas and also just learn about a way that someone who's very successful has and wants to put together a show?
I think we met a few times, like preliminary, and then I was gone for a good part of the summer. And then when I came back, we actually had a scheduled date for a critique from there's a photo collective that I belong to. It's like a lot of people. So we had planned to just bring everything we had already made and kind of see how it worked together, and get a critique. And I think that was helpful. Super. And there were like 15 people there, so that, 15 artists, professional artists, most of them educators, I would say. So that was super helpful to have that kind of built into our schedule. And it was at the end of August, I think. So it gave us a month to respond to that and get things together. But otherwise, Cameron was just super easy to work with. And we just, talked about our ideas back and forth. And I would share things with him, and he would share things with me, and send pictures back and forth if we weren't meeting. And yeah.
I feel like the ability to share our ideas, go off and work on our own, and then come back and be like, this is what we had in mind then. Is it still kind of on the same path? Do we need a new plan, but like, now that we've done this working apart, where is this telling us to go next?
Yeah, and I think he's a great collaborator, because he really spurred a lot of like that 4-part thing. He was like, well, maybe I can look at your photos and you can make some prints and I can use those in a collage. And, to really he's really started that process of making the work together, using each other's materials. And then I was like, well, maybe I can photograph your objects. And
yeah, just, I think I said it before, but just being willing to I have this idea and, well, I don't know, but I trust Priscilla a lot, so let me throw this out. I was like, hey, what if we had Jazicality do this? And Priscilla's just like, let's think about logistics. What do we need for that to happen? And I think that was really, really cool as well, to said before, the openness, but also here's the plan. Let's get a plan together. I was talking about getting ready for the show, you organizing stuff in the space. We kind of planned stuff out, but it was very spur of the moment as far as bringing stuff into the space and then seeing what would talk to each other.
Any more questions? All right. This has been great, you guys. What are your ats on Instagram? Where can we find you? Where can we find your next show?
We haven't planned that far ahead yet.
Okay, that's okay. But where can we keep up with you? Instagram, Facebook? What do you?
I'm most represented on my website. Search CameronJarvisArt.com. You can send me an email. You can look at the portfolio. You can do other things. Soon to return to Instagram, but who knows?
There you go.
Yeah, and my website is PriscillaBriggs.com. Big surprise.
Love it.
Yeah.
I like it when it's easy. You know what I mean? Just this is who I am, and then you can also find me at, because everything I do is Jazicality, so it's easy to find. So I love it. But thank you guys so much for being on Musicality Mondays, and thank you guys so much to you too for also being on Musicality Mondays and the first live studio audience for the podcast. This has been a lot of fun. Make sure you guys go follow or go to their websites, check them out. Priscilla Briggs and Cameron Jarvis here. And if you can't, I don't know exactly when this is going to be posted, but make sure you go check out Rosa Lux Gallery and check out their work, you guys. I'm going to be posting it also. So thank you guys so much for watching Musicality Mondays, and we will catch you in the next video. Bye!
Musicality Mondays, Liddy Mondays, Liddy Mondays, with Jazicality Mondays.